So, in the Microsoft Fabric suite of tools, OneLake Explorer matters more than you might think. And I'll tell you the reason why right now. It's because it allows non technical users to both upload and download data from the Microsoft Fabric service. And we're going to cover an example in this video that'll hopefully leave you convinced that, well, it's important. But first, a couple of things. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. It means a lot and it really helps the channel grow. Second, I have a new way for you to get involved in the channel and help tell me what you want to see videos and talk about. In this case, I posted 4 video ideas that I had mainly about Microsoft Power BI, but also one about Streamlit. And I allowed you guys to vote on what you want to see. So in this case, 35% of you said that you want to know why Microsoft Fabric OneLake Explorer matters. And that's what we're talking about right here. One quick call out though, there's roughly almost 4,000 of you, and only 17 of you are voting. So, with that said, I'll post another poll this week. And if you want to be more involved in the channel, or if you want to help tell me what you want to see, vote in that poll. And if you have a video idea or a topic or a question that you want me to answer, let me know down in the poll's comments, and I'll go ahead and I'll add it as an option to the next poll after that. All right, with that out of the way, before we go into our example as to why OneLake Explorer is important, we need to actually cover what OneLake Explorer is. And it's this application that you can download right here. And it's a Windows only application that allows you to integrate the Microsoft Fabric OneLake into Windows Explorer. Now, a lot of people compare this to OneDrive, but let's say call it like OneDrive for Microsoft Fabric. And that's pretty much what it is. Once it's installed, what it does is it creates this folder off to the side in Windows Explorer that says OneLake Microsoft, and then it's currently, I think, a preview application, which is why it has that preview. And when you click this icon, what you see is you see a folder representing each of the Microsoft Fabric workspaces that you have access to. And in just a second, I'm going to be showing you how this easy to access UI is a game changer when it comes to helping your non technical users interact with data in Microsoft Fabric. But first, we have to talk about one other additional feature that I think is really cool. And that is that it allows me to access my data in Microsoft Fabric even if I am offline. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move my video over right here. And then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to disconnect from Wi Fi. Crazy, I know. So here I am, I'm disconnected. And what do you know? I still have access if I go into my production workspace and go into my production lakehouse to the files that are on my OneLake drive. So not only are you getting an easy to use UI, but you're also getting offline access to your Microsoft Fabric data. Okay, I've made you guys wait long enough. I've told you that why OneLink Explorer is so important is because it allows your non-technical users to both download and upload data to Microsoft Fabric. And I'm going to give you a demo about just how useful that is. So here I am in a Microsoft Fabric notebook that is connected to a lakehouse. And for this demo, let's pretend that we work for a marketing agency. And let's say that in this lakehouse, we have a table that contains all of our customer information. And what we need to do is we need to extract that customer information for the sales team to call. And then the sales team will put notes on that same CSV that they've made the calls against, saying, like, hey, this client picked up, this client didn't pick up, and we need to re ingest that, right? Pre OneLake Explorer, what you would have to do is you'd have to either design a web UI kind of OLTP application, or what you would have to do is you'd have to design like an SFTP kind of drop with then a pickup and build out a whole data pipeline. But what you can do now is you can use one Fabric notebook that runs once a day or once a month to export data. They can go and they can write all their comments, and then you can re-import it. So here is a Microsoft Fabric notebook, and it generates a bunch of fake information and then, or fake clients, and then it just simply exports it out to a CSV. So let's go ahead and let's hit run all on this notebook, and let's see if it generates that file for us. And where does it generate it? in my Windows Explorer. So this is running, and then just like that, it's run and it says CSV file fake record CSV created. So let's now go into Windows Explorer. This file is being created in our production workspace. I'm going to go over into our production workspace, and then I'm going to go into our lakehouse, and then I'm going to go into our files. And right now, there seems to be nothing, but I'm going to go over here to OneLake. I'm going to right click this, go to OneLake, and then go sync from OneLake. And there we are. We can now see our data that we just created in a Microsoft Fabric notebook is now available for offline use. So I can go ahead, I can open this CSV, all right? I can change it. So for example, I could change the first record to wings. I can hit save, close out of this, minimize out of this, and as you can see, it's now synced my changes, which then means that I can then go back into my production workspace, into my production lakehouse, and then go over here into my files, open that file, and here's my change that I made locally on my computer, synced up to OneLake. And this is the real advantage of Microsoft Fabric OneLake Explorer. I didn't have to write any SQL to modify this. I didn't have to understand what a lakehouse was. I just simply had to interact with a file locally on my computer. Now, one quick call out and some stuff I've noticed as I've used OneLake more and more. First of all, if your workspace has any special characters in the name, it won't appear over here. And that's because there's limits to what can be contained or what characters can be in a folder name in Microsoft Windows Explorer. So for example, if I go over here, what you'll see is that I have a test workspace with little asterisks in it. So I've got a test, a dev, a production, and then a notebooks workspace. And if I go over here, I don't see that test workspace. So let's go over and let's try to rename that workspace and see if this fixes that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove those asterisks right here. So my test workspace no longer has that. Then I'm going to go over here to File Explorer. I'm going to right click on OneLake. I'm going to go over here to OneLake and I'm going to go to sync from OneLake one more time. And then just like that, I now have my test workspace. Then finally, the other thing that I've noticed is that if you try to sync a workspace that doesn't have any Microsoft Fabric objects in it at all, sometimes it won't appear until after you've created a Microsoft Fabric object and then gone ahead and deleted that same object out, which I think is probably designed behavior. So with all of that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you now see just how important OneLake Explorer is. And if you're not yet subscribed and don't want to miss out about learning about important features like this one, please consider hitting the subscribe button. With that said, please give this video a thumbs up, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.